My name is Dennis Sietsma, and I'm in Homestead, Florida, USA. Dennis John Sietsma Productions, south of Miami, north of Key Largo, USA. It's 7:51 in the AM on the East Coast of the United States. September 15th, 2024. It's a Sunday, and this is a video documentary about my 1994 Chevy Astro van that I've owned since new, and I'm installing a new remanufactured engine from Powertrain products and returning my core back to them, and I hope to get the van running today. Next segment. In yesterday's segment, I had no fuel pressure. That's because I had forgotten that I had deliberately removed the relay that gives me fuel pressure. I had removed that relay. You can see the socket there, because I didn't want gasoline squirting everywhere at the wrong situation or time, and I'd forgotten about that. So obviously without the relay you won't have any fuel pressure. Now you might want to get a spare one of these, because sometimes ants get in there and get in the contacts and you'll have no fuel pressure, hence no start. So carry a spare one of these with you, I recommend. Next segment. Okay, it's 8 AM now on the 15th of September. I've removed the distributor cap and unplugged everything going to the distributor to disable the ignition. I don't want any sparks. A spark is what caused the fire over there when I was working to time the engine last time, and I had a spark plug out and gasoline shot out of the number 3 cylinder, and it was like a blowtorch with a spark. So you want to disable ignition. I've reinstalled the fuel. Get on camera there. I've reinstalled the relay, so I should have fuel pressure. Now I'm going to turn on I've reconnected the battery. I'm going to turn the key on just to see if I have fuel pressure. I'm not going to crank it because I know the timing's off and I don't want to misfire or any sparks. So when you turn the key on, the computer, the powertrain management module, powertrain control management module, puts a voltage that you can see with a test light on the prime connector, the electrical connector. On the vans, it's on the passenger side in the front. On a lot of Chevy and GMC trucks, it's of this year, in these years, OBD1 years, it was on the driver's side in the engine compartment. But anyway, next segment. And what caused my engine to fail at 208,000 miles, even though I took really good care of it, was a failed oil cover. And this is on the, where you couldn't see it, on the passenger side rear. And the oil would flow from the, it wasn't getting enough oil to number 6, and that caused the connecting rod to fail. And all of my misery here was caused by a failed oil cover, because this engine had a lot of life left in it, except for it was oil starved on number 6. Next segment. Okay, we're looking at the fuel pressure. I'm just going to turn the key on without cranking it. You should see the needle shoot up to around 65 or 70 or higher, and then after the 2 seconds is expired, the power goes away and it should hold pressure, assuming the regulator is good. This vehicle has a 1992 to 1995 central multi-part fuel injection, CMFI. Most people call it CPI or MFI for central. Why three names for the same thing? I don't know. Other people call it the Spider, the original Spider. In later years, after 95 to 2002, they had a different kind of Spider, and they are not interchangeable. The later years was a sequential Spider. It goes central sequential fuel injection, CSFI. And what the difference is, CPI shot all 6 poppets at the same time, and the computer was different and the wiring was different. After 95, they went to sequential, and you'll have to look up online to see the difference, why people think one is better than the other. But for now, we're just going to turn a key on and see if we get fuel pressure, and we should. Okay, yep, I got 60, and it drops to 55, and it's bleeding off slowly. And I've got a that's fine, that's good. I have a remanufactured Spider in there, a CPI, done by GB Remanufacturing in California through Rock Auto, which even if you go to the Rock Auto website and you see it grayed out, keep coming back because they only do so many a year. And when it's not grayed out on the Rock Auto site, then you can order one. And I have a couple of spares, because the cost to convert this engine from CPI to a modern fuel injection like the Holley Sniper 2, and with the manifold and it's just cost prohibitive. So if you have one of these 92 to 95 CPI engines, which is VIN-W RPO L35 engine, stick with it, because it's too expensive to upgrade to a modern Holley Sniper system. And this is just as good. This works fine. It gives you good fuel injection. I don't know if it's better or worse. I don't have what Engine Masters has. And I'm sorry if the lens is fogged up a little bit. It's really humid. It's like a sauna bath this morning. Dennis Seatsman, Dennis John Seatsman Productions, Homestead, Florida, USA. This is a video documentary, a video diary, so to speak, about my 1994 Astro van that I've owned since new. Death or injury can result from do-it-yourself work, so if you choose to do do-it-yourself work, do it at your own risk. Thanks for watching. Next segment. Hello audience, I'm back again. It's 9:15 on the 15th, September 15th, 2024. You got a 50-50 chance of setting up the distributor right when you swap out the distributor, assuming you have the mark on the harmonic balancer, which I don't know why General Motors in this version 1994 called it a torsional damper instead of a harmonic balancer. But anyway, there's 2 marks on it. The first mark, I don't know what it's for. The second mark is the correct mark. Now, I'd set this up prior with a mark on the manifold where it should be when properly timed on the correct mark on the harmonic balancer with the alignment. And I'll get to that in a minute in the next segment or so. But I had this set up on the mark, and it wasn't timed properly. So, you know, like I say, you got a 50, and I'm not going to get into the reasons why, or the theory, or the logic, or the physics, or the mechanics, try to explain all that. I'm just going to say I got a mark, and it's either right or wrong. And so I'm going to hit the key here and crank it till I get this rotor exactly opposite to where I had it marked before. Then I'm going to flip the distributor to make it line up with the mark, and then it should be properly timed, maybe. So we'll see. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. This is a documentary, people, not a how-to. I'm learning, and I show you how I learn. And the CPI is still showing, I don't know, 20 pounds. I would like it to hold perfectly, but I could have a poppet that's leaking, and it's still under warranties, and I have 2 others, so I can swap out the CPI if it doesn't hold pressure. But really, the best judge is seeing if you got a leaky poppet or not is you pull the plenum and you check them all with the upper plenum removed. But that's a lot of work, so you can just pull the spark plugs and check the colors, see if they're firing cleanly. And I had good compression on the old engine, and everything was great. 208,000 miles, the engine was still good, except I didn't have enough lubrication going to number 6 because of the hole that was in the back of the valve cover. So if you have any leaks, don't ignore them. I should have paid attention. I had a lot of leaks on this, and I wasn't paying attention, and it ended up with engine failure. So let's get to the next segment. Okay, it's 9 a.m. on September 15th, 2024. There's no wind here this morning, none at all, dead still, and it's like a sauna bath. But anyway, I'm not going to explain how or why, but I've moved this, I don't know if this rotor's any good or not. I've moved this 180 out from where it was, and I've loosened the 14 millimeter bolt, so I'm going to pull the distributor out and reset it so that this is pointing the other way without moving the crankshaft. Now on the crankshaft, I doubt you can see it, but I have a good mark where I painted it on the correct mark. I don't think we can see this, but I'm going to try. Can we even see it? You can see the yellow paint down there if you look carefully, and it's right on the mark for TDC on the indicator. It's really hard to see. That's why setting timing on these Astro vans is a booger. I'm trying to show you the easy way, and this is not a how-to, it's a documentary. I don't know if it's going to work or not. I think it will, from my understanding of the system. Next segment. I cannot get this to go where I want it to go. I just can't, because this is alignment with the slot that goes to the oil pump. So I have to turn the oil pump the same amount to make it match when it's perfectly in alignment with the red mark. So I have to get the tool to do that, and you can use the engine prime tool. That's the best tool to use, and as I've said in my prior segments, I've got 2 tools. One of them doesn't develop oil pressure and the other one does. But I got to pull the distributor out of the hole to do this and turn the oil pump just, you know, like 2 degrees counterclockwise. And you want to be real careful that you don't drop these screws down the hole on the, and you know, note to O'Reilly, make sure the damn screws don't come out, because one of them dropped down the hole on my old engine, and I don't think that caused the failure, but it wasn't good, and I couldn't get a screw like that, so I had to go to O'Reilly and they swapped out the distributor for me, no questions asked. But it would be better if they fixed the problem and put retainers on these screws on the distributor so it can't happen. This one has a retainer and the other one doesn't, so it's a quality control issue at the factory. Whoever's making the distributor caps need to pay attention to the quality assurance and make sure the screws don't drop out when it's turned upside down. Next segment. Okay, audience, as I've said in the past, this is a RPO L35 engine, and they made this 4.3 liter V6 in several versions, TBI, CPI, etc. So you have to be cognizant of the RPO number for your engine. when you're working on it. Anyway, this OEM oil pump primer tool does not work. This 27006, it mates with the Melling oil pump perfectly, but it doesn't develop any oil pressure. No oil. So if it's a primer, no oil pressure means it's worthless, except to align align the pump. So this is a Nix, and I'm going to call these people. On the box they got the number 866-458-2472, and I called the number on the internet, and it was some LifeLock or some trying to sell you something, some bogus site. Now this one does develop oil pressure, this Proform, part number 66896. So I would keep this tool. This tool I'm going to try to return. I'm going to contact AutoZone and see if they'll give me a refund, even though it's the time is long expired. I bought this back in January of 2024, but I didn't get around to using it until recently and found it doesn't do what it says it does. It says it works on all engines. It doesn't. So I don't know about the other engines, but it doesn't work on this one. That's all I can say. All right, I'm gonna get that aligned, and then we'll put it back together and see if she starts. Okay, I'm satisfied. I have the mechanical timing set up. The relationship between the distributor and the camshaft and the crankshaft should be normal if my theory is right. And again, this is a documentary. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but this should be the easy way to set the mechanical part. The electronic part is different. The electronic is like the fine tuning, and the mechanical is the coarse adjustment. And you disconnect this connector down here, the single terminal connector, to release control of the computer on the, and that's the way you set the baseline timing according to the manual. And I'm sweating bullets here. Anyway, I'm gonna carry on, put it back together. Let's see if she starts. All right, it's 9:30 on the 15th of September. Almost time for another break. Now, if you don't have this oil pressure sender connected, let's say it comes unplugged or wire breaks or something, you'll get fuel pressure, but it'll go away after 2 seconds, and it won't come back because the power goes through here. And this is set for 4 psi, so you have to have oil pressure greater than 4 psi, or it won't keep power to your fuel pump, and you'll run out of gas, and your engine will stop running. So keep that in mind. If you ever lose fuel pressure, I'll put up a diagram that shows the 3 pins here, and you can figure it out, or figure out I guess is better in USA English than ferret out. You can figure out which 2 pins to short to simulate ample oil pressure if you suspect you got a bad set. And these things are fragile, so you may have to replace it from time to time, the oil pressure sender. I see all the time about fluctuating oil pressure, and it could be something really bad, or it could be just the sender. So you need a mechanical oil gauge, and I have one, but the damn thing broke first time I went to use it, and I haven't had time to fix it yet. Dennis Seatsman, Dennis John Seatsman Productions, Homestead, Florida. Do-it-yourself work is done at your own risk. Now, I don't know if this thing's going to start or not. If it doesn't, I have a plan B, and so let's get the keys and see if she starts. Okay, people, if this doesn't work, or I have a problem of some kind, I've got fire extinguishers, big ones, at the ready, and I'll turn it off right away if I have to. Key on. Okay, 0 oil pressure. the Viper system locked the doors. I've got low voltage for some reason and a full tank of gas. So we'll try to crank it, and if it backfires or something, don't freak out. I'll have to pull the #1 spark plug, and I'll show you a way that I devised where one person working alone can set the timing, the mechanical timing first, and then we do the baseline timing, which is electronic. So let's hope she starts. Let's see. Oh, and I tightened up a few things. The leak should be gone. The coolant leak, I found the lower hose wasn't tight enough, and I found the flare nuts holding the transmission cooler lines to the right side of those weren't tight enough. So everything should stop. The leak should be taken care of now. We'll see, I hope, except for the ABS leaks on the brake fluid, and I have to top off the brake fluid before I try to drive this thing. Let's see if she starts. Ooh, that was bad. Okay, that was a backfire. Analysis. Okay, gang, we're gonna have to go to plan C. A was the first time I tried. B was the second time I tried. And now I got to pull the #1 spark plug and do it the right way, and I'll show you how I do that. I'm glad I got that really big bolt on the harmonic balancer now. That'll be handy. This is going to be more work than I planned for, so I need to take a human being break. Audience, thanks for watching. And the reason I don't like the backfires is it raises hell with the catalytic converter, and it blew off my muffler last time. So what could be wrong? Okay, gang, we'll figure it out. We're together in this. We'll get to the bottom of it. Audience, it's 10 o'clock now on the 15th of September 2024. My name's Dennis Sietsma. Let's recap what we've done today on the 15th of September 2024. Plan A was I set it to the mark, and I set the crankshaft to TDC on the mark that I believe is the correct one on the harmonic balancer or torsional damper, whatever name you want to use. And it almost started running, but it was like too far advanced, and I could tell by the sound of it, by the tuning, by ear, that it was detonating sooner than top dead center. Because of the noises the engine made. Now you'd have to review the video to see that. Plan B was flip it 180 degrees on the distributor and pray, and that resulted in a backfire of one of the cylinders, which means we had detonation in one of the cylinders when the exhaust valve was open. So that means it's either way too advanced or way too retarded, but it's not even close. So I returned it back to plan A, and I know the crankshaft, as viewed at the harmonic balancer or torsional damper, goes clockwise. I know the distributor from observation goes clockwise. So I set it, I retarded it. If you went clockwise on the distributor, on the rotor, that would be advanced. It would fire sooner. Going counterclockwise retards it. So my guess was retard it by 1 tooth, and I've done that. So we'll put it together and we'll attempt to start it, and we'll see if it runs. Once it starts running, I can do the baseline timing using the timing light. Now, engine timing should not be mysterious if you understand a 4-cycle engine, internal combustion engine, and what it needs. It's stupid. It doesn't know what it needs. It's up to you to give it what it needs so it can run. Interesting fun fact. So if you took an air compressor and a nozzle and you removed all the spark plugs and you went per the firing order, the engine would rotate as if it was running. Of course, one cylinder at a time with the compressed air. And that's a good test for a basic engine if you're if all else fails, and you don't know what else to do. The traditional way would be to set it to TDC with the number 1 spark plug removed, and I could do that still, but that would be plan D. Right now I'm on plan C, which is retard it 1 tooth and see if it runs, and then set the baseline timing electronically with the timing light. The other way to set the timing without the engine running would be disconnect all of the spark plug wires except the center one from the distributor cap, and connect your timing light to number 1 and see where number 1 is firing, and the engine wouldn't fire because you've got everything disconnected. I haven't ever done that yet and don't plan to. I'm trying to get this idea to work, so I'm going to try this next. Now I need to mention, this is really handy, this 14mm Jet Tech tool, 14mm in that configuration to get on that distributor bolt. Don't over torque it, you can break it, break your bracket, and then you got to get another one. But make sure it's in place and tightened down before you put the cap back on. But you could use a 14mm wrench just fine, or a socket and a ratchet, but this works so easy compared to the others, and I've tried everything else. So I'm going to put the distributor cap on and we'll see what happens. And this is a documentary. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm recording everything. Thanks for watching. Dennis Seatsma, Dennis John Seatsma Productions, Homestead, Florida. Let's go to the next segment. Okay, I got my fire extinguishers ready. It's 5 minutes after 10, September 15th, 2024. We're going to see what happens. I've retarded it like 1 tooth. And if I get it running, then I can set it the rest of it. And if it doesn't run, then I can set it 2 teeth back. And let's hope, see what happens. Okay. Okay, that sounded like it's too far advanced. Too far advanced. What do we want to do next here? Because it sounded like when it did fire, it wanted to push it back. It didn't want to go clockwise, it wanted to go counterclockwise on the crankshaft. So that means it's still too advanced. Maybe. Alright, let's try plan, I don't know, plan D, are we at? Where I pull all the spark plug wires and see where it's firing on number 1. So I have no combustion. But as far as the pressure on the fuel pressure is pretty good. It's at 45 right now and falling, but means I don't have a perfect seal on the poppets. Sad. I had hoped for better. But anyway, alright, so what do we want to do next? Do we want to retard it 1 more tooth? Or do we want to go forward with it 1 tooth? I think if I keep going retard, I don't know, I think I should need to go advanced. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, what the hell. We'll go advanced 1 tooth. Let's see what happens. It can't hurt, right? Okay, it's 20 after 10 now. It's almost time for another hydration break, but I turned this from where it was, which was about 11:30, to like 2 o'clock. And I'm not trying to move the distributor one way or the other because you got to get it at least close before you start fooling around with that. It's got to at least try to run, not kick back because it's too advanced, or backfire because it's too something. And good idea to put some of the silicone stuff on these weather pack connectors. Keep them nice and moist with the silicone. And this one I'm missing the gasket, but I'll fix that. I've got the gasket here somewhere. But the weather pack, I like the connectors in general, but they like to stay moist with the CRC dielectric grease or something else made by somebody else, but it's dielectric grease. You put that on the gaskets. I'm looking through my ditty bag here, see if I can find the gasket somewhere. But I think I'm getting closer to having this thing running. We'll see what happens next. But if I can get this even close to running, I can then start adjusting the distributor clockwise or counterclockwise, and that'll tell me whether I need to move the tooth mechanically clockwise or counterclockwise. Right now, the last tests were too far off to be useful. Let's see what happens this time. Ignition on. Got good fuel pressure. I think I got everything secure. Fire bottles, fire extinguishers ready. Let's see what happens when we crank it. Oh, that's even worse. Okay. Alright, let's try this. We're going to resort to moving the distributor clockwise and counterclockwise. I got to get this figured out. I got to ferret this out. Let's pause the camera. Next segment. Okay, I've gone counterclockwise with it as far as I dare. The other trick would be just move all the wires, all 6 of them, clockwise or counterclockwise, and that's another thing you could do. Again, people, engine timing should not be a mystery. Once you get the hang of it, it's cool. And this is a documentary, not a how-to, so you'll see me do it wrong 3 times before I do it right. Good. Good, at least it's running. So that tells me I have to go counterclockwise almost to 9 o'clock with the rotor. Yep. Hey, it runs, alright. Yep. Success. I love success. Alright, well, I know what I need to do now. I know what I need to do. Starts nice. I'm not letting it warm up because I don't care. I just want it to run, even for a minute or two, and then I'll tidy up with everything else, like the air conditioning compressor and some of the wiring, and you know, I gotta still deal with this, what is that thing? This pollution garbage. I gotta mess with that, figure that out. And I gotta clean up the spark plug harnesses and looms. And I did find finally found the part number for the single wire retainer. But this is encouraging. This is great. It's just happy times. Happy times. Can pick my avocados now and get them to the packing house, but they're closed on Sunday, so it'll have to wait till tomorrow. Oy. What a battle, eh? What a battle. Let's start it again. Okay, around 60 psi. That voltage around 14 volts. Oil pressure's a little under 40. Ain't bad. Ain't bad. Not bad at all. Hello audience, it's 6:45 in the evening. You heard the engine run earlier today. Put. Made some adjustment to the distributor since and improved the situation slightly. Noticed a hellacious leak, so took care of that, and saw another leak and took care of that. Now I'm working on another leak and I'm trying to take care of that. Unfortunately, I'm having some problems getting things solved. So I'm too upset to talk about it right now. This is probably it for the day. Gonna get a human being break and probably some food and some sleep, and then come back at it again tomorrow. But the engine's fine. The engine's running. It's just I got these leaks to get sorted. But I need to jump online real quick. I need like a 1/2 inch National Fine tap, bottom tap, because I'm having some problems with the threads on this brand new radiator, and I may have to pull it and send it back and get one from AutoZone and then start over, but don't know at this point. Right now I'm working on trying to get the leaks sorted. I did get one leak sorted, number 1, and I'm not going to bother you with the details. It's too embarrassing. And number 2, I had a power steering line, this one here, the bottom of it wasn't connected to anything. So got that connected to the steering box, and up here solved that leak. So I'm holding power steering fluid without it leaking anywhere. And then I noticed a transmission line fluid leak right here at this is the one I fabricated at the upper port, and this is the one I need to get a tap and die for, a bottom tap, like 1/2 inch National Fine. So this is probably going to be it for the day. It's 6:45. I hear thunder and lightning coming. They said we weren't going to get any rain today, but at least the engine did run, and good oil pressure, like 46 psi, smooth idle. Increased the RPM slightly, and everything was good. I just got too many leaks. I got to get those sorted. And power steering fluid and motor oil and transmission fluid is too expensive to let it bleed out, so I gotta get it fixed. So audience, this is probably the last segment for today. Thank you for watching. Dennis Sietsma, Dennis John Sietsma Productions, Homestead, Florida. This is a video documentary, audience. This is not a how-to. I make mistakes, and I try to solve my mistakes. So, do-it-yourself work is done at your own risk. Death or injury can result. Do at your own risk. The only advice I'd give anybody if they were trying to do what I'm doing is when you get another core, inspect it thoroughly. Run a bottom tap through all of the holes, and make sure you have all of the bolts for all of the holes and the plugs and everything before you ship off your core. And according to Hoyle and the paperwork, they're supposed to come pick the core up tomorrow. Powertrain Products shipping. I've got the documents, but they didn't say when they were coming except Monday, and tomorrow is Monday the 16th. So I have to be here all day long waiting for them to show up. They'll probably show up at 6 o'clock at night, and then expect me to get my magic wand and put it on their truck. And if I don't have a magic wand. So anyway, audience, appreciate any thumbs up. You can subscribe or drop out. It's up to you. Here comes the thunder and the rain. That's it for today.